welcome back, fellow jazz bums. Today we have a special live stream. We have Caelan Cardello with us. Michael Fremer will be joining us as well. But before we get into it, we have Caelan's new album, Chapter 1, in the description below. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can find a link to Acoustic Sounds, which has the LP there. And then Caelan Cardello's website has the CD. So you can get it CD or LP, and you can also stream it. I encourage everybody to check this album out. It's a wonderful album. I'm really excited that Caelan's here to talk about it. So with that, welcome, Caelan.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Felipe. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you again.
It's been what, like 3 years? Pretty much around 3 years, right?
Probably that.
I think so.
Yes. Yeah. So this time, So this time we're gonna have the team together here. Michael should be joining us shortly. He's kind of getting here.
Yes. And, the full team assembled.
Yeah. Pleasure to have you here. And the second record really was an interesting, great surprise. Not you're expecting less, we're expecting more after the first one, after the first chat that we had. And now you're in a classic trio with a quartet song in your record. And just wrapping up with Michael, what Mike said, there is each presentation has a different set track list, right? The vinyl has the Monk song, but the CD and stream, they have extra songs as well, all originals by yourself, Caelan. So Chapter 1. How did this happen? Why is it called Chapter 1 to start with? That's a silly question.
No, it's not silly. It's it kind of just happened because I've been wanting to for a while put out a record of my music, and I've been very wary about the whole process because as you guys know, especially now in the last 10-20 years, the record industry and labels and getting attention with your music has changed drastically. So I've just been very patient, and I didn't want to rush into anything. I've had a lot of recorded music over the years, but it wasn't until fairly recently when I was like playing with this trio that's on the record and realizing like, okay, I might have something here. This might be a time where I want to actually, present this to the world. And the inception of the album came really when I was performing with the trio at Mesro in New York, where I am now, by the way. I think the last time we did this, I was in Jersey City, but I live in Harlem now. So I'm very, very happy about it. It's so nice to not have to pay the toll every time I want to come to the city. Hey, there he is.
Here I am. That was a little bit strange getting in there, but here I am.
Welcome again, Michael. Thank you for joining, Michael.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
We were just getting into it with Caelan about his new album. He's now moved into Manhattan, up in Harlem, and he's working on his new album. So Caelan, have you been gigging in New York? Is that part of what you're doing these days?
Yes, pretty frequently, which I'm very blessed and honored to say, because that's not the case with every musician, and especially today in today's economy. I'll take any work that I can get, and I'm very grateful to be making a living doing what I love.
That's fantastic.
In New York City, which is the capital of the jazz world.
Right, Caelan? I mean, you go to play and you fill up the places where you play.
Yeah. I'm slowly but steadily building an audience, building a fan base, and the places that I've been fortunate to play regularly, like Mesro and Smalls and Birdland and Jazz Lincoln Center, among other places. The crowds have gotten larger, and it's a little combination of built-in audiences because the places are well known, and also people are just wanting to come out and hear my stuff. So
good, it's great.
Yeah. So this new album, I was listening to it, and the playing is exceptional. I mean, there's
You.
a good amount of variety on here, but for my ear as just a fan, what I'm hearing is like a swing influence. Like you have kind of a swing core on this album. So I was just curious to know, going into this, what you're playing and what you're listening to. What are your influences that are kind of helping guide your kind of creative process for the compositions here?
Um, well, recently, I've drawn a lot more inspiration. Recently, meaning in the past 4 years since I've graduated from um, undergrad and done my master's. Um, I kind of have been a lot more influenced by people in my generation and the generation above me. You know, getting into jazz obviously was a lot of digging the past and Oscar Peterson, Bud Powell, Wynton Kelly, Thelonious Monk, all the greats. Um, but I feel like I've taken all that, and of course I'm still listening very frequently to those masters. But now in moving to the city and going to Juilliard and being around the city a lot and playing in the city a lot and being exposed to more people in my generation and their music, I've been inspired a lot by those people's compositions. Um, and so a lot of the inspiration came from just being out and hearing people play and hearing people my age play and then going back home and at 2 a.m. and just wanting to play and record myself playing, and whatever comes from that. Um, there's not really. I'm trying to think on the album. There's any pieces. There's a couple pieces where there was like a sharp source of inspiration, but for the most part, they're kind of just ideas that were um, worked out over time. They were little voice memos, 20 to 30 seconds that I had in the vault,
Mhm.
and then expanded on the more and more I felt inspired to do so.
Cool. Felipe, you want to jump in?
Yeah, no, just following what Caelan said, to me, it sounded very yours, very spontaneous. I didn't quite had the impression, oh, I hear this, I hear that. So I think there's a really nice fingerprint. It sounds like yours and this amazing trio that you put together, um, with the
Thank you.
Jonathan Muir and Domo Branch on drums. It's
Mhm.
very, you guys to me like swinging very hard. The songs sound very fast paced, very uplifting, but very melodic as well. Especially your playing, I think. And the drums, it was amazing. I really love the drums in this record, the way
Mhm.
the music came across. So I know that Jonathan is from Michigan, Dom is from Portland. How did you guys end up like playing together? How did this trio came out?
Well, Damo, I've known for a while. I've known him since I was in high school. We were both um, separately a part of the same program called the. Uh, you guys might have heard it. It's a collegiate competition. No, sorry, a high school competition. The Charles Mingus High School Competition, where they have big bands from around the country. It's very similar to like Essentially Ellington or any of these other high school competitions. And so it was my senior year as well as his, and we were in the competition, and he was with a band, um, some organization similar to Jazz House Kids, who I was there with, and we just met playing a jam session. They broke a lot of the kids into separate groups for jam sessions from all different bands, and he was in the one I was in, and we played, and we were both I think 17 at the time, and immediately I was like, "Whoa, like who's this?" And we hung after for a bit and talked, and then he ended up going to Manhattan School of Music for his undergrad, and I went to William Patterson, and we remained in contact, and I saw him play a few times, well, quite frequently actually, because every time I go to the city, we would all be hanging. Um, but he kind of he was in the city, I was at Willie P, like we were living separate lives for the most part in our undergrad, and he started playing with Wynton Marsalis and doing really a lot of great things. And once I graduated and was more active in the city and started to get more gigs, I was like, okay, now's the time. Like, I really want to form this band, and I want him. And I had always known that I wanted to play with him, so I reached out to him and told him like, I want you to be in my trio, and of course he was ready and happily available. Um, and then Jonathan was I met him also at a jam session, but way later, I think in 2023 or maybe 2022. There was a session downtown, and I remember that night I was leaving, and he was in the club, and I hadn't seen him. I didn't know who he was, and I was about to leave, and I heard the tune start, and I immediately was fixated on who was playing bass, because I was like, "Whoa!" Who like people don't walk bass lines like this, or like they don't have in New York. There's a lack of bass players with like a deep sound, and so I turned around and he was playing, and then that's when I was like, okay, let me talk to him, and so we just started chatting, and then I started calling for him for some gigs and put him and Damo together, and that was that. But it was really just through the scene,
Yeah,
through hearing each other and knowing that we all have, a deep love for music and creativity.
very cool. Let's bring Michael in here. So Michael, what do you have
Yeah.
to say about all this?
What I've said about all this, I have to say that it was serendipitous to first meet Caelan back just when COVID was breaking, and just grabbing him and saying, I want to put this record out, and putting the first one out with Rufus that everybody loved.
It was 3 years ago, last
I-
month. I was telling them, January 2023 was the gig with Rufus.
Unbelievable. And
It's crazy.
I didn't know who Caelan was, and I was saying, wow, this should have been recorded. And of course, you guys know the story. It was recorded, and we put it out, and everybody loved it, and we sold out, and we could keep selling them, which we will at some point. And and then I stayed in touch with Caelan, and then he did this new record, and we found a way to license it from the label that sponsored it for him. And then Caelan had this really good idea. We obviously, because it was a single record, we couldn't put all the tracks that are on the CD and that are streaming onto a single record. So we cut a few tracks out, and then Caelan came up with this incredibly great idea to include one track that is only available on the record, and that is the Thelonious Monk track, which to me is just a dazzling. I played that all over. I played it in Warsaw. I played it at the Capitol Audio Fest, and I will play it in a couple of weeks when I do a thing down in Pennsylvania. And wherever I played it, whatever room I played it in, people applauded at the end like it was happening live, which is amazing. And everybody, that was a great thing to do, Caelan. I have to say that was really a smart idea to put that on there.
Oh, got to make it unique,
So
make more want.
Yeah.
So right now, this is Acoustic Sounds, and is it being distributed, the LP, by Acoustic Sounds exclusively?
Yes,
Michael.
Chad is distributing it, and so Chad has it, Elusive Disc has it, Music Direct has it, and Chad's agent in Germany, Michael Ludwigs with the big glasses, he's got it, and he's just about sold out of all the first batch that he got. I don't know how many he got, but they're pretty much sold out. So he's going to be ordering some more.
So the link to Acoustic Sounds to this website is in the description if anybody wants to go check it out. But obviously, as Michael said, you can find it elsewhere. But yeah,
2 reviews under there. You can go to the 2 reviews that the consumers have ordered.
Okay. So we have 2 reviews already. I own Too Many Records. I fell in love with Caelan's first record after the first listen. And the sound quality is great on this one. Don't believe Michael Fremer's liner notes. Great record. What is that? Okay.
I was gonna go over it, Michael. So first of all, here's
funny.
A copy.
I just made the point that it's not a quote unquote audiophile record. It's not like records where it's like a piano way in the distance in a room and a blue line pair of microphones and this 3-dimensional piano.
ECM record.
That's okay with us. Hey, the early Bud Powell records, Monk records, Parker records. I mean, all of those records are
All
not
of them.
Exactly.
and those
All
are
of
some
them,
of my
yeah.
favorite. Those are some of my favorite records. So
Yeah,
that's okay
yeah.
with me.
Those guys were in the studio playing their asses off. They weren't saying, "Oh, careful, your sound might leak into that microphone. You better take it down 10 notches." And no, that's not what it was about. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
everybody
I mean,
loves it.
I thought
Mhm.
it's a very good sounding record.
It
So
is.
I'm actually not sure. So I was listening to it, and it's all trio up until there's a song. I think it's called John. What is it? John
John
Neely.
Neely.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
is it tenor sax or what? Who? So who's that comes in on the record?
Chris Lewis, right? Yeah.
Chris Lewis, yeah. Yeah, he's a good friend. He's one of the newest members actually now of the Jazz Lincoln Center Orchestra. Really incredible player, thinker, uh, performer, like kind of
Mhm.
definitely channeling a Wynton vibe, but rightfully so, and he's earned everything that he's gotten, and I've heard him play numerous times, and I from the first time I heard him play, I was like, okay, yeah, but let me want to work with him in some capacity. So
Mhm.
I was just like, I was thinking about tenor players, and I was like, because I knew I wanted to record a couple pieces, quartet, and Chris came to mind first.
Mhm.
Well,
Let me ask,
I mean the
have
the
you
record
guys,
is fun. Yeah.
have you guys streamed the record and compared it to the vinyl version? Obviously, there's more tracks on the
Yeah.
stream. Have you too?
Yeah. I did listen to the high res files, but not to the stream, and I listened to the record. And yeah, of course, there is a difference there. It's
Yeah, I
it's
think the records.
deeper, it's more present, right? Especially, yeah, it just
You know,
feels the room a lot
Dave
better.
McNair cut the lacquers, and
Yeah.
Dave writes for me. He used to write for Part Time Audiophile, and he just
Mhm.
got a whole new bang cutting system. And
Yeah.
he did everybody that worked on this record did magical things for it, as far as I'm
Mhm.
concerned. The great
Yeah.
team
Yep.
that worked. I couldn't be more excited about this.
I
Yeah.
just think the music is fantastic. When I was listening to it, I was just like, this is an exceptional record. Like the trio, like the first track on it just swings. I mean, it is beautiful, but then there's like points in it. I think it's like the third track where your touch, Caelan, is so light and delicate. It just really just shows like like the dynamics in your playing and composing comes through
Mhm.
here. And like Felipe said, the drummer sounds fantastic. Like it's just a well done record. And I was really, I don't want to say surprised because it's not that I was surprised, but I mean it was just really great to listen to it. And I encourage everybody watching this to go and stream it just to check it out. And then if you want to get the LP or whatever, go grab that too. But definitely go sample this. It is very good.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
It is.
yeah. So now, Kaylin, just stepping out of your songs. So here on the LP, we have three covers. We have All For You, Cole Porter, All of You, Cole Porter, Ask Me Now by Monk, which is like an obscure 78 track from very early, and Groundwork by Cedar Walton. So what made you choose those tracks, and how was the interpretation of them?
Um, well, I knew I wanted to have. I didn't want to just put out as a debut record, just have all originals. 'Cause I
Mhm.
want to have still one foot in the American songbook slash standard slash composers, like Black American composers area. Because that's true to me. That's like I don't. Anytime I have a gig, I don't play just original music. I like to mix it up. Um, that's not to say that somewhere down the road I won't play all original music for a show, but at this point in my life, this is what I'm doing. So I knew I wanted to have a couple pieces that were representative of that, and I have had a heavy um, study of Cole Porter in the last few years. Um, I did this piano competition back in 2023 called the American Pianist piano awards rather, and the award, one of the awards for it is the Cole Porter Fellowship, and so that throughout the year of the competition, we were heavily checking out Cole Porter stuff. So there's that. There's also just my love for the American Songbook, which comes from studying with people like Bill Charlap and Harold Mabern. So I had this arrangement of all of you, and I wanted to do it, and we the trio had been playing it for a while, and there's the same thing with Groundwork. We've been playing that song for a while. I love the ferociousness of it. It's kind of like Michael says in the liner notes of the Powerhouse Trio. I feel like that song in particular is very powerhouse and exemplifies the range of the trio, and how we can listen to each other. And what was the other one? Oh, the Monk tune. Well, that one was actually that was not supposed to be released at all. And like Michael said, the last minute, this was actually in the pretty much the week or two right before we started the whole process of getting the records cut. And so I'm glad I thought about this, about the exclusivity of having a different song on it, because I recorded Ask Me Now as a solo piano version, and then it just didn't, to me, it didn't make sense. I wanted to have, for the record, I wanted to be like, okay, it's my trio. There's a couple quartet songs, but it's mainly the trio. To have a solo piano piece doesn't really make sense right now. And so we didn't include it. But then it was like, okay, well, now we have this vinyl, and it does make sense for the vinyl, because it has a couple trio, it has the quartet and solo piano. Okay, it showcases a little bit of everything. So, and Monk is Monk. It's like you can't go wrong ever with any Thelonious Monk song anywhere.
And it's a great side ender. That's records have two sides, and you have to program it so you end the side with something. You end the side with that, and if you don't have an automatic lifter at the end of the record, you just sit there for a while, and it goes around and around. That's just
yeah. It's nice to end with a ballad too. That's another.
Yeah, and we mixed it in a way that I usually don't like to mix piano. I usually don't like having you're the piano player and you hear the left hand over on the left speaker and the right hand over on the right speaker. But in this case, the person that mixed it and the person that mastered it both thought that was the most appropriate way to do this. And Caelan obviously liked that. And so you hear what he's doing on the left hand over there and the right hand over there, and it's amazing. You really hear how amazing his playing is on that track, and it goes through so many moods, and it takes you so many places in time, because there's parts of it that are like older stride music, and then there's newer things, and there's so many emotions and time periods that he covers in that one short song. It's like 4.5 minutes, and it feels like a century, but one that you want to live in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we can't. And also,
yeah.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
I was saying, when you told me about it, you didn't hold back. You said, "I think this is something pretty special," if you remember. And
yeah. Well, yes, I do.
You were right.
I'm glad it's on there. Yeah.
Me too.
But also I just can't forget about John Neely too, because that one is Harold Mabern, and I'll always pay homage to Harold Mabern, because he was one of my first teachers at William Patterson, and one of the reasons I'm really into jazz and into a lot of particular things in jazz and life too. So I dedicate a lot of things to him. So that's why that one's on the record.
Yeah, Mayburn's, he's one of the greats.
Absolutely.
So, Michael, so when you get this record, are you getting test pressings? I'm assuming you're getting test pressings. And when you listen, you're listening on your home, your professional system at home. Can you kind of just go into some details about that for the viewers?
Well, it's interesting that it was cut twice, and you have to match the cutting system to the music and vice versa. And so the first cut was done. Now Matthew Luthans is a great cutter. He does all the stuff at Chad's place, and Matthew's Doug Sax's mastering system is a vacuum tube based system, and he cut it, and I got the acetate at home, and to me, it just didn't have the power. It was just lacking in something, and so I spoke to Dave McNair, and I said this cut, I'm not sure this is the right cut for it. He said, send me the files, because I just updated my whole system. It's rocking out really good now, and let me see what I can do with it. And he cut it, and I immediately knew that's who should cut it. And Chad,
wow.
Chad's system is there, and Chad was cool with it, and Matthew was cool with it, because what really counts is what's right for the music. No politics, no nonsense. And Dave's cut was just right in the pocket, as they say. And it's a very funny story that the night that they premiered the CD, and the original CD was at a penthouse in Manhattan, and so I went, and my wife went, and they played live, and it was just really fabulous fun. And the next night they played it at Dizzy's, and we went to that too. And I had to get up 4 a.m. the next morning and fly to San Francisco to go to Rel Subwoofer event. So, I got to bed very late that night, because once you go and these guys play live, you buzz for a bunch of hours afterwards. I was buzzing, and then also excited by that this record's going to be so great. And then I got up really 4 o'clock in the morning and got to the airport. And Caelan and I still had stuff to do. We hadn't finished everything that had to go on to get this thing finished. And so I got to San Francisco, and I texted him, and I said, "Hey man, I can't do anything today because I'm in San Francisco for an event." And he said, "I'm in San Francisco too, and we're playing tonight at the Black Cat." And I said, "I'll be there." And I was. It's just serendipitous.
Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
So Caelan, just a question for you in terms of like your inspiration, and just how you're feeling about your craft, your playing. Can you kind of speak to kind of just, where you're at right now? Because like you're a young guy, but you have a lot of energy. And honestly, like I love listening to like the early stuff of my favorite artists. That's like some of the most kind of inspired work that I listen to. And that's kind of where you're at right now. So I'm just curious to know like how your energy is, and with your peers, and what's going on.
Well, I feel like I'm in a really good spot. I'm feeling very motivated and creative. I actually was just nothing's being released, but I was just in the studio a couple days this past week recording some trio stuff, some solo stuff, some arrangements that I've done for quintet and septet, which was really nice. Because I think I've gotten really into arranging recently, and writing for larger ensembles. So I'm kind of exploring that. I'm also writing more music for trio constantly. I tell this to everyone, when I'm writing, I don't just sit down and force something out. It's always something that comes to me, or something that's inspired. I don't agree with some people's idea of composition is like to sit and wait for it to come, and like, really just like force something out. And I don't think that you can a true melody, or something that's like going to really have an impact on the listener, can be forced. So that's why I record voice memos, and I do like, a 10, 20, 30-second voice memo. And then sometimes that'll sit on my phone for 6 months, a year. I'll come back to it and see if I'm still inspired by it, then I keep going, and then I build on that. So that's kind of, I'm in that process right now. And I'm going out a lot. January and February kind of dry months for musicians. So if you're not on the jazz cruise or traveling the world, and so I've been taking that time to go out and see people play, more people in my group, in my age range, and also legends. I just saw Kurt Rosenwinkel, the Vanguard, a few days ago. It was great. He's playing all of his original music, which is it's like trying to do, calculus AB. Um, but it's very it's interesting. It's interesting to see to reflect on how I feel after each of these performances and how inspired I feel. That's something I'm always thinking about. And also, taking time to spend with my family and my friends, because that's also very important. So
Definitely. All right, Felipe, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's ask some questions.
I have a couple of questions for Caelan, but actually to get Michael also mixed here about the recording. Michael, you guys recorded at Trading Eights in New York, right? And
in Jersey,
in Jersey, sorry, yeah,
Jersey.
not too far from Van Gelders, actually, right?
knows?
So yeah, exactly. So you said it's not an audiophile recording, but it captures the atmosphere. I think it kind of makes it more human in a way, not like too
Yep.
cold and precise. It's very human. So I'd like to know, how was your involvement with the recording process? And Caelan's, how much are you into the gear thing, the audiophile parts? Do you care too much? Are you involved with it as well? How did you guys work that aspect of the recording?
Well, I'll just say that I got involved in this after the recording was done, and I got involved in the mixing it.
Okay.
And brought over a mix and the files, and we listened to them, on the big system, and we both decided that it probably would be good to try another mix, and which we did, and we got Duke Marcos to do it, who engineered and mixed the first, the record that that Rufus did with Caelan, and he really put it in a good place, and you can hear how good it is. And then Mark Rosselli, who does all of the recording and mastering for Nouvelle, he mastered it because Bob Ludwig is retired, so he couldn't do it. And I think you're talking about jazz guys who are real jazz engineers and jazz lovers, and everybody did a fantastic job with it, and it speaks for itself how great it is. And like I said, this is a jazz record that I think hard rockers could love this record, because it just gets right down to it right away. So yeah, I'll be bringing it around every place I go. And oh, by the way, Caelan is going to be the main entertainment at Axpona.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, that's great.
And by the way,
I know what.
I never called me back, Caelan. They never called me back. I'll try one more time, but
maybe I'll go pay them a visit down on 6th Avenue. Maybe I'll
I
go.
know our friend Jerome Saba, he played last year, I'm pretty sure, and he's played a number of years. But that is awesome. Expone is they'll turn you into an audiophile, Caelan. You better watch out.
Well, we don't want to do that. No,
That's okay.
No, we just want the
no. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
I'm kidding.
A seminar there. We're going to do do you guys go to that show?
Expona?
I do not.
No, I will be the Florida show.
Because I'll be the Florida show too. But if you went to Axpona, I invite you to join us in the panel, and when I talk to Caelan, and you guys could add some authoritative information. But you're not going to be there, so I'll do it myself. That's okay.
There you go.
So yeah, so it's all great. I think this is just an exciting thing, and this record is, everybody's loving it, and it's going to do very well, and it'll bring Caelan to a different audience, and it's fine. Let these people bring it to their friends, and their friends will tell their friends. My friend Brian Fisher, who writes for me, and mostly is he's a jazz guy too, but he writes about, he's a rocker as well. He came to Caelan's show at Birdland, and he was and his wife were absolutely, he talked about it for days afterwards. But Caelan, I have a question for you. When you played downstairs at Birdland, 2 years, was it 2 years ago that you played?
It's been a while since I've played in the theater. It was 2024. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Your car accident?
Yes, when I had the car accident. Yeah.
All right.
He had a Scotty LaFaro moment, but fortunately, he survived that one.
Yeah. 50% Scotty LaFaro moment.
Whew. That's
And it was
no
your
joke.
birthday that day too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, birthday. And you came in, you played anyway. It was that night, right?
Yeah, that was a crazy crazy 180 of a day for sure.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it was a song that you did. There was a song that you did. It was a very meditative, slow, extended piece that absolutely dazzled me. And are you doing? You didn't record that for this record. Are you going to ever record that track? Do you remember it?
I don't know if I remember which one you're talking about, honestly.
It was a very long, extended, meditative piece. I think it was a piano solo too. I don't remember.
I
I don't
don't
remember.
well, I'll have to get back to you on that. I have all my sets written down in my
Oh,
notes so I can go back in the years and look.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just a quick programming note here. So we're talking about Caelan Cardello's new album, Chapter One, which we encourage everybody to go stream and check out. And you can get the LP version. This is the Acoustic Sounds website. Felipe's holding up the record there. But it's Caelan Cardello, Chapter One. There's a link in the description if you want to check that out. But definitely worth a stream. Really excellent trio performance.
Mhm.
Thank
Right.
you.
Yeah.
And then takes it to a level of sonics. And I'm talking to
Yeah.
Caelan about this. What I want to do after this record really gets established is put the Monk track at 45 RPM on one side, and then take one of the tracks that we had to leave off to fit onto the vinyl on the other side. And I think
Okay,
That'd
really
be
dig
nice.
that.
Yeah.
Caelan's
that'd be
up for
cool.
that. Well, yeah,
Mhm.
we did the top quality tip-on jacket that Stoughton Press does. There are different levels that they do.
It
So
is.
we did the
Yeah.
full glossy laminated cover, and the inside is finished also. It's because I figured it's his first record, we should go deluxe all the way, and which we did. So
It's
Yeah.
great. I mean, yeah,
It is super high quality. And so first time when we spoke to both of you guys separately, we came to the first one. Right, Michael, we asked you, is it like the only one Leon record release? So actually, we got a second ARP, which is
yeah,
great. And
Art too.
and how did Jazzbird came into play?
Well, that's Caelan's deal. Caelan made a deal with Jeff at Jazzbird, and Jeff
Mhm.
came to play at Mesro and was blown away and signed him up, as far as I know. And then I got involved to make the vinyl version. But my dog was at Westminster yesterday, Liam, and he didn't do well. He got shut out, but we took him and
Oh.
showed him. It happens.
um,
You think the hi-fi world is corrupt? You should see the dog world. It's like, forget it. People say to me, what's the difference between a hi-fi show and a dog show? And I say, well, at the hi-fi show, there's more crapping in the elevator. That's the basic difference.
well, I would like to see a single side at 45 RPM, please. So if you can make that happen,
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on Clarity Vinyl.
Yeah.
So Felipe, jump in.
Yeah, just not more like a conceptual question, Caelan, if I can call it like this. So the record is called Chapter One, and I know that one of the tracks that you kind of work the most and felt there's like an emotional component to it. It's like, where do we go now, right?
Mhm.
So references kind of to the future, stepping ahead. You mentioned that you're a guy that, although you listen to the masters, you're very tuned into what's happening with jazz right now. So do you see yourself just next project just doing something completely different, something more modern, or you seem to be someone that's always like looking forward, looking ahead, not looking back too much, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you saying that out loud makes me think about some of the titles on that on the on the album. I guess that makes it seem so.
Right.
Um,
Don't look
Don't
back.
Look Back. Yeah. And where do we
Stepping up.
go now?
Yeah.
Right, stepping up. Yeah, that's funny. I wasn't even really thinking about that with those titles, but that's interesting.
Mhm.
I guess
That's right.
I'm always yeah,
It
exactly. It just naturally happened.
was
Um,
there, but
yeah. Yeah, I'm always I'm always thinking about how I can um present really good quality swinging music with my own touch, and maybe if that means it's more modern or more you know, yeah, more modern sounding, then okay. But I guess like some of the stuff that I just went into the studio and recorded last week were my interpretations of standards. Um, but they're not, some of them swing, but it's not like swing the whole time. There's like different sections and it's more of
Mhm.
a thoroughly arranged thing. So I guess it really boils down to arrangement with those. Um, I don't know. I don't really have a direct answer to that. I don't,
Mhm.
because like I said, nothing is set to be released right now. So I don't have I don't have a definitive concept for another album. I definitely have music that I am excited about
Mhm.
having recorded, and thinking about putting out a few things as singles. Um, but in terms of a fully fledged album, I'm not sure. I think I need to spend a little more time writing and developing my own sound,
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
we'll see what comes from that.
Yeah.
What about a live album, Caelan?
Well, that's all. I mean, shit. That sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
You're good.
That's what I've always wanted to do that. That was kind of, I mean, the Rufus album is a live album.
Yeah.
Um, I've always wanted to do a live trio record. That's kind of, you know, I think live records just capture the true full essence of whatever the band is. Like you listen to any live
Yeah.
record ever, it's just it's it. Like that is
Mhm.
there's a record that just came out last year that was redone, or not redone. I don't think it was ever out, but it was, I think, live at Slugs. It was McCoy Tyner and Jack DeJohnette
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
Joe
Joe
Henderson.
Joe Henderson.
Yeah.
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 Did you
Amazing
guys
record.
listen to that record?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Of course they.
Like,
Of
I mean,
course they.
talk about
Yeah.
huh?
Blue Note put it out, I think, 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Or
Might have been
last, I think it was
copyright.
last year.
Was that no, was it I was it 2 years ago or last year?
I think last year. It was
I think last
relatively
year.
recent.
It's
That was
very recent.
It's recent.
Zev
Yeah.
Last year.
Zev Feldman was involved with that, Michael.
Yeah.
And how could that never have come out? That's the other crazy thing.
Right.
Man. But
Yeah.
so you guys know what I'm talking. You've heard that record.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Like
record.
that's the when you talk about live records, that's it. So you have 26 minutes of Jack DeJohnette playing the ride cymbal like there's no tomorrow. McCoy Tyner like banging the shit out of the piano. Joe Henderson playing. Was it who was playing bass on it? Um,
Uh,
Yeah. My
oh
I'm not
man,
sure. I
I
can't
have
remember.
it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, that to me, that sound is like is the greatest of all.
Henry
The
Grimes.
live sound.
Henry
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 Grimes,
Grimes.
yes, thank
Yeah.
you. Henry Grimes, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
so would
All
there
of the
be a
Oscar Peterson live records. Sorry to cut you off. Like
no?
just
That's
just
right. I mean,
saying.
yeah. Go.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like Slugs, from what I understand, obviously that's an earlier generation, but that had like a reputation. Like we had Joe Harley on the channel, and that was like his stomping grounds, and it was a pretty rough and tumble club that probably brought with it a lot of energy in a certain crowd, which lends itself to a recording like that. So I just am wondering, like, is there a venue that you can envision yourself, like an ideal spot that you would love to record at?
Excuse me. I mean that it is hard because I've heard live records, modern live records of my peers, live at Dizzy's. And it sounds great and it captures the intensity of the group. For me, it's more maybe I'm saying this to the wrong crowd, but for me, it's more about the intensity in music, not the overall sound at the end, right?
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
care more about, even if the drums overpower the piano for a moment, like that's okay because live, that's what happened. Like
Yep.
You know, like in my case, Damo, that happens plenty of times because Damo plays hard, but that's what
Yeah.
I like, you know, and
Yeah.
and then the audience reacts to that in a very positive way.
Yeah.
And then also the most subtle, like beautiful ballad playing melodies, like, so I don't know. I mean, Dizzy's, well, okay. If I got to choose, the dream would be the Vanguard. Be to do
Yeah.
a live record of the band. That, you know, I
Yeah.
pray to God that someday, at some point in my life, that I will have the opportunity to do something like
And
that.
we'll roll in a tape recorder, full analog. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I won't be bringing the tape recorder down those stairs, but somebody else can.
Rudy, if Rudy could do it, we could do it.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, that would be, you know, because those
Yeah,
live records are some of the best. Some of the
Yeah.
best.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a question here from Michael, from Roberto. What is the direction Fremer, so Liam Records, is going? Is this something that you are continuing to pursue, or is this something that you're going to continue to work with Caelan with as he, you know, records in the future? What do you think?
I hope both. I think what's going to happen with Caelan is I think a major label is going to swoop him up,
Yeah.
and then you know, we'll license the records on Liam Records to the major labels, and we'll both become very wealthy. And but I won't let Caelan have all the money because I want him to really be hungry and be a great artist. I want him to get flabby, but I will. No, I don't know. You know, I'm not sure what's going to happen with records. I've got another reissue that I want to do. There was a guy named Nick Culp. I don't know if you know that. Remember that record? Nick Culp had a trio in California, and he did an all analog record, and he was quite a talented guy, and he didn't do a good job having it mastered and pressed, but it was, I wrote about it, and he sold a good number of copies of it, and I want to do a proper reissue of that, which would be maybe ARF number 3.
Okay.
And then, you know, and I'll put out my singing record, which I will have Caelan back me when I sing, and that'll end his career, but it'll be worth it. I don't know. We'll see.
It's going to end whose career?
No, mine, not yours. But I don't know. You know, I think people have come to me and said they have music they would like to release. You know, but I don't. One step at a time, because it's costly to do this. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, I put out in. I think we'll make it back and make some money, and Caelan and I will split the profits, which is the way we're doing it. And I'll be as honest with him as Ahmet Erdogan and all the people at Atlantic were to all their artists.
Yeah.
I'll be totally honest with Caelan.
And then
So
I kind of have like just a side question for Michael. I was just thinking about us chatting today, and I just wanted to get like your perspective on kind of the 90s. And from my kind of observations, you had a few people. You had like Joe Harley at Audio Quest, who was recording in a particular way. You had Michael Hobson at Classic Records, who was reissuing things in a particular way. And then you had Chad Kassam, who was and this was all early 90s from what I understand.
And Ying Tan, don't forget Ying Tan, who was
Okay,
Groove
yeah.
Note, and he was Mike Hobson's partner for a while, and then they had Org Music.
That's right. And then
they split up. All of
yeah. But I was just wondering, like, when that was happening at the time, like the level of excitement or energy or whatever, as somebody who was in the field, and we know that vinyl in the 90s wasn't like obviously the primary format anymore, but there was these guys that were doing it in such a particular way. I was just wondering, like, at that origin point of this like new kind of way to approach it, because obviously there was like Mobile Fidelity before them, but this was like a new kind of thing. I just wanted your perspective. Like, how did you think about this? And what was like the level of excitement about all this stuff?
Well, the level of excitement was that we could go into these great studios and record to tape, which was starting to go away. And that, you know, Joe could go in and be a record producer. Don't forget, Joe was working for Audio Quest. So he was working for a cable company and you know, in the audiophile side of things. And he got an opportunity, and of course, being a big jazz fan, he got an opportunity from Bill Lowe to do a series of records and release them on Audio Quest's label. And he was able to go in there and record to tape with great engineers. You know, they would record live to 2-track. occasionally.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
very excited for Joe, and these were great sounding records, and gave me something to write about. How much was there at that point in time to write about? New vinyl that was coming out and recorded all analog. There wasn't that much, and these were records you could take to a hi-fi show, and when people, for the few people that had turntables set up, you could say, check this out. What have you got on that CD that sounds like this? And there was nothing. So that was very exciting, and all of us were in this world to do these things, to make a point, and bring it out there and say, we're not giving up on this. We're doing it, and here's how great it is, and however many copies we sell, we're going to do it. And everybody did it, and everybody did okay, and everybody's still here. And look what it did for Joe. So now Joe is the tone poet.
Joe's
And
the Sinatra guy now. Come on. He's
he is.
putting out Capital Sinatra and Blue Note. That is like the best of the best. I mean, come on.
You have no idea. Joe and I used to sit around in the Audio Quest days when it was him and me and a few other nuts. We'd go to the hi-fi shows and they'd say, give up, Fremer. It's going away. Vinyl's dead. Give up. And we said, no, we're not giving up. This is what, and Chad also. And so, for Joe to go for the Audio Quest thing, which kind of flopped. And then what happened with Blue Note was interesting because I went to interview Don Was, and Joe had talked to Don about doing this whole vinyl series, and they were not in favor of it. And then Joe was doing the Music Matters series, and that was very successful and very costly. And I went up to visit Don and interview him, and he said, why do those records sound so great, and our reissues don't sound very good at all? And I said, well, Joe could tell you. Joe knows what it is. And the people at Universal, they didn't want to do this. There's no one's going to pay $40 for a record. Forget about it. And we all pressured, everybody pressured them to do it. And finally, they did it because they said, get this guy out of my life. Just let him do one. It'll flop, and then we can go on with our lives. And of course, it didn't flop, and it became a big thing. It's a great story. It'll be in a book at some point.
Well,
It's
it was
great
hugely influential in my kind of jazz exploration because these were great sounding Blue Note records that got me really into it. And I know Felipe has like the full run of Music Matters. So and Felipe was listening to Blue Note well before that, but I just mean it really helped us really focus on it.
It's a different experience, yes. I mean, from my age and perspective, I was in Brazil, so most of my jazz collection was CDs. I was getting CDs. First time I dropped like a Tone Poet and a Music Matters, I said, wow.
Wow, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. These Tone Poet reissues are what the tapes sound like. They was what Rudy wanted to sound like, and Rudy couldn't put them out the way he wanted them to sound. And so when CDs came out, Rudy was absolutely thrilled about CDs because he felt he could take his old tapes and put them out with no limiting and no compression and put all the bass on them. They didn't sound good for whatever reason. And then, Joe started doing them, and people were saying, oh, it's not the Blue Note sound. It's not Rudy's sound. That was not Rudy's sound. Rudy didn't like that sound. It compromised it. That's so those records would play on the kind of inexpensive phonographs that people that were buying those records could afford. And so to put them out the way they're supposed to sound is phenomenal because people finally get to hear what's on those tapes. If they like those original compressed Blue Notes, fine. If they think that's the Blue Note sound, fine. And there are those people. But now you can buy the Tone Poets for $40 or whatever. And if you want the original, it's going to cost you like $400. But what are you getting? You're getting kind of noisy vinyl, and you're getting that. It pops great, but this is a great period of time right now. Joe and I sit around and say, what can we do to make people understand how great records are, and it should not die away. It should stay around and come back. Mm-hmm. And we both said, if you could just sit down with people and play it for them, let them hear it, they'd get it in a minute. They'd understand what it means to have a wall full of records, and to pull out a favorite record and play it. And when you get elderly like me, and you've had these records on your shelf for like 50 and 60 years, and you pull out a record you bought in 1965 or 66, a jazz record, you pull it out and all those memories come flooding back, and then you play it and it's phenomenal. You'll never get that from streaming. You will never get that. And know that now.
I feel like the production kind of I don't know, the production calculus, just to bring it back to Caelan, his new, also the Rufus Reid record that he did, but I mean that also it starts with having a very good source. It's done by a mastering engineer that has a beautiful system. It's pressed well, and then it's packaged well. So I feel like that format that Joe and all those guys kind of started back then,
Yeah.
it's still, you know, paying dividends today. And Caelan is, you know, like having Michael help you produce this record. I mean, this record is going to be as good. Like you were just saying, Michael, you had Matt Luthens at the mastering lab. You tried another guy. You got like the right mastering for this record. Where's it pressed again?
QRP pressed
QRP.
Chad pressed it.
QRP, yeah.
QRP, one, you know,
Yeah.
like the best, them RTI, you know, I mean, like, so it's just done really well.
And Chad watches out for, you know, Chad and I go back 40 years, and he watches out for me. And when this had to be pressed, he opened up the presses and got it on the press right away. So, you know, all back, it's like 4 years worth of stuff comes back for you. So it's fantastic. It couldn't be better what's going on now. And, you know, dream.
It's great.
The best way to.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think just on that subject of bringing Caelan, did you ever think? I mean, you're younger, from a younger generation, that when you're like not even like in music school yet, if you're ever going to release a record, would you release a vinyl record? Did you ever cross your mind when you're younger?
No.
Right?
I didn't even know what a vinyl record was until I was like maybe 16 or 17 years old.
Yeah.
Because my dad has a record player, but it wasn't set up.
Right.
And you know, he was obviously playing CDs. We actually had a cassette player in our car until his first car until it died, maybe in like 2019 or something.
Right.
But yeah, so you know, so I was listening to cassettes, I was listening to CDs, but never vinyls. And so yeah, I never thought, idea never crossed my mind that I'll put a vinyl record out. So it's very exciting.
It is very exciting.
By the way, Caelan's parents are two wonderful people. He really has really wonderful
Thank
parents.
you, Michael.
Very lucky to have parents like that. And you know, the first song on the record is dedicated to his father. And I think I called him when we were starting this project, and he was out fishing with his father. So he lived.
Yeah, actually, we were when we were in the process of starting to get the record printed, I called Michael because my dad and I took a trip out to Minnesota, and we drove from Jersey, and we were in Stoughton, Wisconsin. And I called Michael and I was like, Stoughton isn't in Stoughton, Wisconsin, like the pressing company? Yeah. And
jacket. Yeah.
The jacket, right. And so I didn't know that they were based in California, so I figured. But yeah, we were going on a fishing trip, and that was kind of it was a good time.
Father, and my father breaks a record over my head. That gives you some idea.
That's great to hear. You know, we had the Strata East folks. We had Chad Tolliver on a week or two ago, and the whole Strata East label is so family oriented with I don't know, just like the members playing. Like you had the Heath brothers on there. You had I'm blanking right now, but there are a number of players that their families were a part of some of those
Charles Tolliver.
Well, Charles Tolliver certainly. Cecil McBee, he has Mutima, which has, I think, his son on that. So anyway, so I just feel like, you know, it's a great inspiration to have, you know, family love involved in some of this stuff. So it's great to hear that.
Yeah.
Did you guys love that big band record? The first Strata East record that just put out?
Yeah, I have that. Yeah.
It's incredible. It's
it is. Everything Charles Tolliver's on is incredible. You know, I mean, he's just killing it. But so we're about we're hitting an hour, so we'll kind of close it up. I just want to remind everybody it's Caelan Cardello Chapter 1. You can get the LP on Acoustic Sounds as well as a number of other online retailers. If you're overseas, it's Michael 45's shop.
Michael 45.
He has his European shop.
Yeah,
and then you can stream it.
Yes.
You before we go, Michael, you have to do your impression. You have to do the rest of the interview now. Your impression of Chad.
Chad, hey, listen, man, I'm trying to put out good records here, and I want to do them at 33. But they won't let me do it, man. I got to do it at 45. That's all they let me do. So I'm doing it. I did the Steely Dan catalog. I probably paid too much for it, but it's okay. I love that music, so man. It's
Oh
fine.
God. Now hold. So, Michael, are you going to Chad's? It's like it's what is that? What is the festival?
It's
now,
the Vinyl.
Is he having live? What I'm getting at is he having live musicians, and is Caelan going to perform?
Yes, he's got a lot of big plans. I named it the Vinyl Summit, and I'm in collusion with Chad over that. And he's gonna have a bunch of blues guys there. He's trying to bring some of the dead ones back. He's working on it, but I don't know if it's gonna work out for him. But he's trying.
Okay.
And I think he's trying to get Taj Mahal involved and Bonnie Raitt. I mean, he's talking about these things. I don't know, but Chad usually what he says he's going to do, he does. But it's going to be, he's got record dealers from all over the world coming in, and I think it's going to be. I said, Chad, you have to have a dunk tank, and so you'll have a dunk tank, and we'll all sit in the dunk tank. And when someone comes up and they have a record that they bought from you that they don't like, they can throw the ball and dunk you in the water and feel better about it. So I proposed that for him, but I'm not sure he's going to do it, but I think he should. And it's going to be a scene because it'll be just like one of his Blues Masters at the Crossroads events, but it'll be even bigger, a lot more to do, a lot more to see. And
Caelan is playing there. Is that right? Is Caelan playing?
I don't think it's arranged yet.
Michael, arrange that. Get Caelan on the bill. So he'll do Expona. You'll do Chad's show. You'll be like the apple of the audiophile's eye.
My phone is unlocked, so just give me a call, Michael.
I think
my phone's on do not disturb.
I'll propose that to Chad. Maybe he would. I mean, he wants more, but a lot of what Caelan does could be putting that kind of bluesy, harder stuff. He's not a navel gazer, so we'll see.
Cool.
It'll be great. You'd enjoy it, and you get to meet all the audiophiles, and they're going to be flying in from around the world. And I got invited to an event in the UK, a deluxe event at the same time, but I'm going to do Chad's event because I promised him I would do it. So that's the way it goes. It'll be.
And I've seen you've given Analog Productions some pretty tough reviews over the years. So you definitely, I mean, I know that you're friends with Chad, and obviously, you're friends with him, but I do feel like, you've been tough on some of his releases too. It's not yeah, exactly.
No, I tell there's a lot of the problem with the audio industry. It's very small. You know everybody, and you sit down and write a review. And I tell people who want to be reviewers, if you were afraid to write a negative review of a piece of music or a piece of equipment, and then you got to go see the person at the show in a couple of months, then don't be a reviewer. Be a publicist. Everything's great, but otherwise, you have to be. If you believe what you're writing, you have to walk into the room. Like I walked into a room once at the CES, and this German importer was there. He had made a loudspeaker that it wasn't very good. I gave it a bad review, and I walked in the room and I said, and I always make it a point of walking in the room of the person who got a bad review for me to see how they'd react, because you got to be a man about it, And I walk in the room and I say, "How's the show for you?" He goes, "Till you walked in, fine." But he was kidding. We were fine. You have to be an adult.
Tough business.
Chad wasn't. But you know what? If I said, Chad, if I gave that particular record a great review and people bought it and heard what I heard, which a lot of them did, then my credibility would be shot. Then the next record I say you put out that's great, they'll go, oh well, Fremer thinks anything Chad puts out is great, and it's not.
Right.
So
right.
Right. Cool.
Felipe, what do you got?
No, that's it. Mike, as you said, we're approaching an hour. Let's try to round it up here. First, thank you, Michael, for being here, for making this happen. Since we have been talking with Chad and Caelan, having this nice conversation. It's a record that came out in August. I've been on the digital since then. I got the record a couple weeks ago. Thank you, Michael. Terrific, and congratulations, Caelan, for having a really nice I wouldn't say a step up. I would say a step forward on your music and your direction. It's a very relatable human album, and I've been playing it nonstop.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Very
Great
kind
record.
words. Thank you.
Caelan's a great guy, and I'm so happy that I got to meet him and hang out with him and watch him play. And that night in San Francisco was great to see him playing because his Domo couldn't be there, so he had to get.
It's very spontaneous.
Yeah,
but it worked out.
It worked
Out for the
good.
best.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah.
And after that, when I said, Caelan, I've had enough of you. I've had 3 nights in a row. I'm done. Okay. No.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's it.
It's a great ride. It's been a great ride. This whole thing has been
It
phenomenal.
really has. And honestly, it's an honor for us to have you guys on and just kind of have a small part in chatting with you and promoting what you guys are working on. It really is, from that first album to this album, like Felipe said, it's definitely a step forward. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of momentum, Caelan. So we're excited to continue to kind of watch you evolve.
Thank you.
Thank you. And hopefully we'll have you back on the channel at some point to catch up.
Absolutely.
Michael, it's always great to have you on the channel. You've been a great friend of the channel. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank
you.
And
thank you.
Yeah, so I guess we'll shut it down now. But just one last thing. Chapter 1, Caelan Cardello. In the description, there's a link to the LP, and we definitely encourage you guys go stream it, check it out, and hear it for yourself. So, thank you, everybody. We'll see you all next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.